of motion.
Leader of majority.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to give notice of the following motion. That pursuant to Standing Orders 184 and 189.3, the Senate approves the following senators nominated to serve in this Senate Business Committee. In addition to the Speaker of the Senate, who pursuant to Standing Order 184.1 shall be the chairperson of the committee, the Senate Majority Leader, the Senate Minority Leader, the Senate Majority Whip, and the Senate Minority Whip. 1, Senator Fatuma Dulo, CBS MP. 2, Senator Justice Retired Stuart Nazayo, CBS MP. 3, Senator Beatrice Kwamboka, MP. 4, Senator Gideon Moy, CBS MP. 5, Senator Sakaja Johnson, CBS MP. 6, Senator Charles Kibiru, MP. And 7, Senator Ledama Olekina, MP. Thank you.
Next order.
Order number 7, statements. Order number 8, motion. Approval of senators to serve in the Senate Business Committee.
Leader of majority.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to move that pursuant to Standing Orders 184 and 189.3, the Senate approves the following senators nominated to serve in the Senate Business Committee. In addition, the Speaker of the Senate, who pursuant to Standing Order 184.1 shall be the chairperson of the committee, the Senate Majority Leader, the Senate Minority Leader, and the Senate Minority Whip. The following in this order, Mr. Speaker, the nominated senators are Senator Fatuma Dulo, CBS MP. 2, Senator Justice Retired Stuart Nazayo, CBS MP. 3, Senator Beatrice Kwamboka, MP. 4, Senator Gideon Moy, CBS MP. 5, Senator Sakaja Johnson, CBS MP. 6, Senator Charles Kibiru, MP. And 7, Senator Ledama Olekina, MP. Mr. Speaker, this is a very crucial committee that needs to be reconstituted immediately to deal with the matters as has been moved and recorded by yourself this morning. Mr. Speaker, it's important for members to approve this so quickly so we can go into business immediately. As you know, Mr. Speaker, as soon as we arise, we are going to go into a meeting of this committee, important committee. The House has a lot to handle. This is 6th session, and I'm hoping that before the end of the 12th Parliament that we will have done our part. Mr. Speaker, I don't have to belabor the point. I ask members to quickly support this motion. I therefore move the Speaker and ask Senator Orengo to second. Senator Orengo to second.
Senator Orengo.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to second and beg that unless there are very serious concerns about the proposed names, without that committee, it will be difficult to start business commencing tomorrow. You know, in the other house, when they could not agree on the names, they had to adjourn the house until another house had to be convened. I therefore second and hope that at the rise of the House Business Committee will be able to sit and determine the business that will come to the House tomorrow going forward. And as you said, Mr. Speaker, this is a very important period. In the next 3 or 4 months, I think we are going to be so busy because I think there's a lot of pending legislation, pending matters to be resolved by both houses of Parliament, including the Senate. I beg to second.
I propose the question, which is that pursuant to Standing Orders number 184 and 189.3, the Senate approves the following senators nominated to serve in the Senate Business Committee, in addition to the Speaker of the Senate, who, pursuant to Standing Order 184.1, shall be the chairperson of the committee, the Senate Majority Leader and the Senate Minority Leader, the Senate Majority Whip and the Senate Minority Whip. 1, Senator Fatuma Dulo, CBS MP. 2, Senator Justice Retired Stewart Mazayo, CBS MP. 3, Senator Beatrice Kwamboka MP. 4, Senator Gideon Moy, CBS MP. 5, Senator Sakaja Johnson, CBS MP. 6, Senator Charles Kibiru MP. And 7, Senator Ledama Olekina MP. Senator Christopher Lagat.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just want to also congratulate the members who have been nominated to this particular very important committee that will be helping us to organize all the meetings, arrange what is supposed to be done in this particular important house. All the members, Mr. Speaker, are very competent, experienced, and they are people of wide knowledge on matters that always prevails in this particular house. This is also a house of representation, Mr. Speaker, and I would have requested that I can see majority of the members are great products of the handshake, and it is very important. I would have wished also the Tanga team be represented in a way so that we be also part of the business of this house comfortably. So if it was my wish, I would have wished that Senator Bogisio would have considered that wing so that we also feel good. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I support those members.
Senator Haneri George.
Mr. Speaker, allow me to support the motion as moved by the Leader of Majority and seconded by the Leader of Minority. This is a procedural motion, as it was said. We really need to approve this list so that this team can retreat and generate business for the House. But, Mr. Speaker, I was just observing and sharing with my leader here, Senator Orengo. You know, the standing order that provides for the formation of this committee is very explicit. The only mandatory people to sit on this committee is, of course, you, the Speaker, as the chairman, the Senate Majority Leader, the Senate Minority Leader, and the 2 whips. Those ones are provided for in the standing orders. The rest, it is now the leadership to decide on who are the additional members. But the mandatory ones are those ones. And Mr. Speaker, every session when we begin, you just see the same names being recycled. I wonder why they shouldn't give an opportunity to other members to, you know, have that privilege to serve on this very high-standing committee. I was just telling Senator Orengo, why would you sit there as the leader and then Mazayo, your deputy, sits there again? I mean, Mazayo should cede way because for you, leader, it is mandatory. But your deputy should cede way so that other members who are not in leadership can also get the opportunity to serve on this committee. Not that I have any problem with any member that has been proposed. I have no problem. I support. I mean, I know they're all capable. But I'm just saying that in future, it is extremely important that we give the opportunity to other members to have that experience of serving on this committee. I have served in the Houses of Parliament for 6 terms, 4 terms in the National Assembly, 2 terms in the Senate. But I've never had an opportunity to sit on the House Business Committee. In the olden days, during the days of Moi and Kibaki, of course, it used to be the deputy, the vice president chairing, and ministers, you know, and the whips and the ministers. So some of us could never move anywhere near there because we were not cabinet ministers. Assistant ministers were not allowed to sit on that committee. But yes, it was. Yeah, the House business. Yes, it was majorly the cabinet ministers and the vice president chairing. Yes, the House business. I'm talking about the House business, Senator Orengo. So, Mr. Speaker, what I just wanted to urge and encourage is that going forward, Gertrude Musuruve wants to have that experience. Agnes Mudama wants to have that experience. Engineer Harugura wants to have that experience. Some of us are not coming back to this house, but how I wish that those who come back will be given an opportunity to serve on this committee. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Senator Orengo.
Information.
Point of information. He wants to be informed.
Yeah. Mr. Speaker, I just wanted to inform Honorable Haniri, and I think he's quite justified in giving those comments. But first of all, normally, and we have had that experience, that if you don't have the whips in the House Business Committee, it is very difficult to whip up members for business which has already been decided upon by the House Business. And for that reason, that's why you see from our side, the minority, we have a whip, Mutula Kilonzo, who is from the Wiper Party. And then because, we need to whip the other section of members of parliament, we have Kwamboka. And then in terms of leadership in the House Business, in my absence, if my deputy is not in the House Business, then there's a very, very, very big problem. And I'd ask Honorable Haniri to look at the constitution of the similar committee in the House of Commons or the committees that Pelosi chairs in the House of Representatives. And in Parliament, the minority and the majority are based on political parties. So essentially, parties drive the business. And that's why party motions are given priority as against individual members. But what you're saying is quite right. And whenever possible, Senator Ledama was not there previously. But in order to make sure that we change, Senator Ledama was brought on board. Senator Sakaja never used to be there. He came in. Yeah, he was not there before. Yeah, so if I go through the list of people who have been changed, Senator Lagato was there. Yeah, so I was listening to him, knowing that he has been there. He didn't want to be saying it is not representative. Yeah, so Mr. Speaker, I would ask Honorable Haniri to look at it more critically. And I know you may regret never having served in this committee. Similarly, I used to be in the National Assembly. I was never a member of the Public Accounts Committee at all. And just because my party at that time thought that, I may not drive the KANU, thought that I may not drive the agenda in the Public Accounts Committee. So I beg you that some of these things you've got to live up with. And I remember one time when, for the first time, I thought I was going to be in the Committee of Defense and Foreign Affairs. And because my name and Koigis were in the committee, the session of Parliament was called to dissolve that committee during those kind of days, but those were bad days.
Senator George Haniri, what's your point of intervention?
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, yes, I'm informed by my elder brother and my leader, Senator Orengo. But I think I still insist. Yes, it is true that our system is based on the Westminster model. We copied, or rather borrowed so much from the practice there. So I agree with him on that. But that does not mean that we must just continue copying and pasting. I mean, we can improve on what suits this House better, what suits our country better. Mr. Speaker, the drafters of the standing orders in their wisdom, decided who should be the permanent members on that committee. Now, a whip is a whip. Deputy whip is a deputy whip. They can do their meetings of whipping in their offices. I don't think they do their meetings of whipping in the House Business Committee. This is a committee that decides what business this House is going to undertake. Now, whether you sit in that committee as a deputy whip or not, it is your duty for the whip or your boss, your party, your leader, majority leader or minority leader, to tell you what to whip. You don't have to sit there as a deputy whip so that you understand you have to whip. Mr. Speaker, I think we have to be pragmatic. We have to improve on this. I still insist. Senator Orengo's arguments are convincing, but I still insist that going forward, I think members should be given an opportunity to a chance to serve on that committee.
Get elected, then I'll...
Senator Margaret Kamar is not here. Senator Sakaja.
This guy is a heckler. Mr. Speaker, thank you. I rise to support this list of members to the Senate Business Committee. Mr. Speaker, indeed I'm surprised that Senator Kaniri has served 6 terms. And then on his last session of the last year is when he has recognized he needs to be in the Senate Business Committee as he leaves to go become a governor. That's on a light note. But he raises a good point, Senator Kaniri. It's on a light note. In other words, I'm saying you're leaving the legislature and you're going to be a governor, God willing. Mr. Speaker, this is a committee that is basically a housekeeping committee. It is not, I've heard Senator Langat asking about, I don't know which parties which don't exist in our standing orders. There's no party like Tanga Tanga. Mr. Speaker, this is a housekeeping committee where members, despite political leaning, are supposed to be objective in deliberating matters of business of the House. And I think that is why some of us still find our names in there. Because Senator Pogishi and Orengo will attest, if I am not blowing a trumpet, that I'm very objective when it comes to matters of the House. Mr. Speaker, as we improve upon our standing orders, one thing I've learned, because I've been in House Business Committee in the National Assembly from 2013, I was in this Senate Business Committee until Senator Murkomen de-whipped me when he was leader of majority. He de-whipped me. But what I've learned, Mr. Speaker, that is of benefit, and maybe moving forward for those who intend to come back to the Senate, because a number of us don't intend to, is, Mr. Speaker, when you have chairs of committees, actually as part of SBC, it adds some value. Because the chairs of committees also many times know what business from their committees could be urgent. And of course there is liaison, but liaison doesn't sit every week. I think that addition would be quite useful to Senate Business Committee. I'm sure you've noticed, Chair, because you chair both, that many times a decision by liaison is thereafter countermanded by SBC, or that SBC makes a decision but liaison is not for it, because of the nature and most of our business, Mr. Speaker, apart from the plenary, is actually in standing committees. I think that would be an improvement of some sort as we move forward. But Mr. Speaker, having said that, I want to thank the leaders of majority and minority for giving us this list. I was just telling Senator Mugeni, he asked me what is the American term. They say, if it ain't broken, you don't fix it. This committee has worked very hard. And one thing I would urge, Mr. Speaker, given our calendar as I conclude, is if it is possible, and I know we'll discuss this at SBC, for the next 1 or 2 months to load a lot of the heavier business, the bills, and maybe add morning sessions just for this February. Because, Mr. Speaker, after that, I don't know how our scorecard as a Senate will rate in terms of the bills we've actually processed and passed, because we are getting into a political season. I think that's something that could be considered. Having said that, Mr. Speaker, I support.
Senator Musurve.
Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to congratulate my colleagues for being appointed on the Senate Business Committee. And indeed, Honorable Speaker, it will fast track what we have on our menu. We have a lot on our in-tray, and bringing members on board will really help, I believe will help in fast tracking. However, Honorable Speaker, let me comment also on what Senator Haniri has just mentioned on the issue of experience. I think the issue of experience is very important for even, other members who have not had, positions, key positions in the Senate, to also be put in such positions so that they can have experience. Because experience is very important, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, I hope that in the next Parliament, all members will be included, and especially those who work very hard in the House. They need to be motivated and incentivized, Honorable Speaker, because most of the time they are overlooked, Honorable Speaker. And even when it comes to such appointments, even when it comes to national recognitions, you find sometimes you work so hard in the House, but it's only God will recognize you, but sometimes you're not recognized in this House. So, Honorable Speaker, I hope there'll be an improvement in this. Thank you.
Senator Hargura.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to support this motion. And we are going into the last session of this 12th Parliament, which will be, I believe, the shortest. And we need to have a House Business Committee which will focus very much on the outstanding businesses which we have. So the earlier we get this committee approved, the better. And also I was looking at the Standing Order 184-1, which talks of the membership. It didn't say clearly about the whips, but I can see in 184-4, it's very clear that the parties are supposed to include their whips in the list they select. That is the list of the 9. So I think it's in order. And I also agree with my colleagues that it's better when these, the remaining 7 are selected, then others are given a chance for getting that experience, and also to make sure that members participate also in the business of this House. And with that, I support, so that we can at least start moving this shortest session of this Parliament. Thank you.
Senator Mogeni Eric Okongo.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to support the motion, and which has proposed Senator through the names that have been proposed. And I have no doubt, Mr. Speaker, that these are members who can ably serve this House as we gear towards the end of our term. The concerns raised by Senator Haniri may be credible, but because, Mr. Speaker, these members have served as well, I think it's good that we proceed and approve them, so that they can embark on the serious business that is awaiting us as we gear towards the end of our term. So I support, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Cherargei.
My neighbor, that there should be a way that all our colleagues should at least be have a Kamukunjian consultation, Mr. Speaker, considering that this is the last session of the Senate before we go to general election. But I don't have a problem with colleagues who are serving, who have been nominated. I don't have a problem with them. But the issue that we wanted to really raise is that we must, in all honesty and fairness, allow people to serve in various committees so that they can get the necessary exposure. Because, Mr. Speaker, when you look at, and therefore, Mr. Speaker, when you look at Standing Order 184-7, it says, is for any reason a member of the committee is unable to attend, the whip of the nominating party may appoint another senator in that senator's place for the period for which the senator is unable to attend. So my advice to the leadership, if there are members who want to serve in the Senate Business Committee, the Standing Order 184-7 should be used at least at some point, so that if there are members who want to serve in Senate Business Committee can have. Mr. Speaker, I would have, of course, finally, is that the Senate Business Committee is very important, Mr. Speaker. You know, there are issues of statements, generating business of the House, the issue of pending legislative work. There is a lot that needs to be done. So we expect the Senate Business Committee to hit the ground running and ensure they give us an agenda, considering that most of the members, Mr. Speaker, are headed to nominations and many other commitments as we approach general elections, Mr. Speaker. So in my own opinion, I think this composition of this committee should be relooked at so that members that are being given opportunity to serve, others can serve. Mr. Speaker, on our political divide, I would have expected my brother, Senator Samuel Pogisho, who is the majority leader, to be cognizant of what is happening around. Because so that we also feel interest. You know, Mr. Speaker, this is an habitat. This is Senate Business Committee. I want also to feel comfortable what the Senate Business Committee is generating as a member of this House. I know Sakaja is one of the team players in Kenya Kwanza movement, but Mr. Speaker, we would have really needed to see a more diverse Senate Business Committee. And therefore, my request, Mr. Speaker, if the Senate Majority Leader can step down this motion and step down the names so that we can go back.
Yes, what is the point of order, Senator Sakaja?
Okay.
Is Senator Cherargei doubting my Kenya Kwanza-ness, the extent or my competency? Because he's mentioned me, Mr. Speaker. And as I've said earlier, this is not a partisan committee, Mr. Speaker. He's trying to introduce factions that do not exist in our standing orders and do not exist in the law as of today. Those groupings you're talking about, Kenya Kwanza, Azimio, etc., shall find expression after the election, when in the next Senate, there will be a majority and a minority side, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, Senator Cherargei, don't drag those Barasa things to this House.
Mr. Speaker, I don't know why Senator Sakaja is uncomfortable. But the Lord Denning says that no one knows the intention of man, even the devil himself. So, Mr. Speaker, finally what I wanted to request, and when you know, Mr. Speaker, I agree, there is the state of the nation, that there is a state of the nation, a book written in law when you are doing first year that says that you need to transplant. I agree that we follow Westminster type of parliament. But some of these things we need to reflect the workings of Kenya. And finally, Mr. Speaker, in all honesty and fairness, I request the Senate Majority Leader and Minority Leader, Senator James Orengo and Senator Samuel Pogisho, to step down this motion. We consult, we look at the names, so that, Mr. Speaker, you know, we can't escape from reality. We live in reality. So let these names be stepped down. We don't need to be acrimonious like national. Mr. Speaker, you remember the other day when we were doing the political parties amendment debate. We did it with a lot of sobriety. So we don't want to go to the route of our sister house. Let the Senate Majority Leader, Senator Samuel Pogisho, and leadership step down this motion, step down the names. We will look at the names. There is no hurry. We reconsider the names. And then we come up with the names, Mr. Speaker. Because it's the reality that we want to see. Because personally, I have several of legislative pending work. But it looks that the Senate Business Committee is the one that is stifling me from shining in my legislative work, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I really need that the Senate Majority Leader to step down the names, we reconsult, and then we move forward. We don't need to be a criminal, Senator James Orengo, my brother, my learned senior. Can we do this thing in even we go for a break of Kamukunji, Mr. Speaker? Agree. This is the House of Union, Mr. Speaker. Thank you. I oppose.
I hope you are not... I hope... Take your seat. I hope you are not abortioning your non-performance to other places. Senator Nderitu.
Asante sana Bwana Spika kunipa fursa hii. Kwanza kabisa nataka kuunga mkono mswada huu wa kamati ambayo inateuliwa kuongoza shughuli katika bunge. Na jambo ambalo nikanganya kidogo ni kwa sababu inaonekana nikana kwamba kuna watu ama maseneta fulani ambao kila wakati wako katika kamati ile. Ingekuwa ni vizuri zaidi ikiwa kungekuwa, nikikubaliana na seneta wenzangu walivyoongea kusema kwamba ingekuwa ni vizuri hata maseneta wale wengine wajumuishwe ndio waweze kujua vile ambavyo kamati ile inaendeleza shughuli zake. Na wengi wamesema vile, lakini hata hivyo, kwa sababu tungelitaka kuanza shughuli zetu za bunge na ndio tuweze kuendelea mbele, na kamati hii ndio inahusika pakubwa katika shughuli zetu za bunge. Kwa hivyo ningependa kuunga mkono na kusema ya kwamba pengine kwa wale ambao watapata fursa ya kuja hapa katika jumba hilo lingine la seneti, pengine mpangilio huu uweze kufuatiliwa, ndio wale kila mtu ajumuishe, ndio aweze kuwa na uzoefu na kujua mambo yanavyoendelea. Kwa wakati huu naunga mkono na nasema ya kwamba nawapongeza wale walioteuliwa, kwa sababu najua ni watu waliobombea na watu ambao wanaweza.
Okay, kuna Senator Orengo anataka kukupasha habari.
Nikupasha habari bwana. Unajua bwana Speaker, ndugu yangu anasema